Hello, everyone. Welcome to Creativity-Hive's weekly program. I'm Miriam Haugen. I'm part of the Creativity-Hive team. We help creatives learn to make impactful storytelling videos through one-on-one teaching and live group coaching. In fact, we have some upcoming training in After Effects and expressions. And if you're interested in diving deeper into our topic for today, just be sure and say, I'm interested in the comments. Today we have Roland Kahlenberg with us for part 2 on talking about expressions. We have a wonderful and empowering way to create high quality, 100% on-brand content at speed and scale with automation options. For these, Roland is going to talk about how he uses Adobe video apps and to develop adaptive and responsive motion graphics solutions. Roland received his first After Effects expert certification in 2002, so he's been doing this for a while. He is also a certified trainer in Boris FX, Mocha. He has thousands of classroom hours as a lecturer at university and college. Hello, Roland.
Hello. All right. Hi, everyone. So, am I sharing my screen?
I can share the screen. I have the control, you see.
All right.
The
Okay, I see
screen is
that
there.
screen. It's the wrong screen.
Uh-oh.
I need the
That's
other
always the
screen.
fun thing with live stuff is that
Hmm.
going, okay,
All right. Let me try that again.
okay. And while you're working on that, I will repeat again. If you are interested in getting some more in-depth training on After Effects and expressions, just say you're interested in the comments and we will get you that information. Okay, let's see. Is this right?
Give me a second. Uh,
Okay.
yeah. Let me drag that in. Okay. Are we seeing the slides?
Yeah, adaptive and responsive motion graphics is right up there.
All righty. Okay, so a couple of weeks back we met up and we had a quick introduction about this adaptive and responsive motion graphics, and we'll do a very quick setup again because responsive and or adaptive and responsive features for motion graphics are something quite new for a lot of people. So if you look up here, we've got text, we've got this line, and then we've got some more text below. And with a quick demo, I'm going to show you exactly what happens with responsive motion graphics. Essentially, we've got properties or elements that respond to changes with a related property or element. So at the top here, I'm just going to edit out the words motion graphics. I'm going to delete that. Click away from this box and you will see the text update here. But notice not only did the text update with the after I deleted the two words motion graphics, but the line also updated and the text below also updated in terms of its sizing and its tracking. So I hope that's clear. This isn't pre-made graphics. This is live. All the responsive nature, how it adjusts, its shape, its text editing, everything is live. All right. So that's responsive motion graphics. And then we had a look at something called adaptive motion graphics. This one's pretty similar, except that with adaptive motion graphics, what happens is your motion graphics will actually adapt itself in terms of its sizing, its animation, based on the size of the frame it is in. Now, this is in After Effects, so everything is done automatically. If I zoom in here a little bit, we've got this little text here. And what's happening is I've done all the design in HD 1080. So this is the beauty of adaptive motion graphics. You design once in one resolution, and then from this one resolution, you place this motion graphics template into other frame sizes, and all the graphics will just automatically resize. So I'm going to show this to you now. Before I do that, Miriam, are we okay?
Yeah.
Okay, great. So I'm going to come to my project panel. This is the composition where I designed this template. As you can see, there are lots and lots and lots of expressions. Expressions are codes, JavaScript or semblance of JavaScript, which is used within After Effects. And using these codes, I develop adaptive motion graphics and responsive motion graphics features. So there's a lot of codes, or there are a lot of codes. I think there are about 500 to 600 lines, although a lot of it's repetitive. Some are more difficult than others.
Hey, Roland, I think the great thing about this is you've learned the code, so we don't have to. Wow.
Quite true. Well, you still will have to learn some things, but it's good that
Hey,
you've got a coach. You've got a coach who's done a lot of the rough, dirty work.
I've done my share of coding, not nearly as much as you have, but I've delved into some of the JavaScript coding in After Effects, and man, it's a load. In keeping track of it, Jarle Lerpol, great motion effects guy and everything from Norway, points out that he doesn't even try and keep track of everything. He has his 2 or 3 documents that are a whole list of codes that he has copied, because you can copy them from various places, and
Correct.
He's copied because he doesn't actually understand most of that himself. You, of course, actually understand and work with these things, and the way you put it together here, I'm just blown away.
Yeah, actually, some of it I too do not understand on a line by line basis. But again, that's fine. That's fine. And it's not that I don't. I think it's also the case where I don't want to get too into line by line basis, because there are hundreds and hundreds of codes in there, or lines of codes. So for the training, I'll be providing a lot of assets, templates, toolkits, and also lots of documentation on the actual scripts that will be used, or the expressions or the codes that will be used. So folks, when they start developing on their own, they can copy and paste and make very basic, simple amendments, and get going to it. But a lot of the course will also be about problem solving, real world stuff. Anyways, I'm going to jump back, because what I'm going to show next is the beauty of developing adaptive and responsive motion graphics. Again, the idea is develop once in one resolution, and then when this template is in another frame size resolution, it will just automatically adapt itself. It's the fonts will pick up a smaller or larger size. The animation, it will move the same, but of course taking into account of the new frame size. Colors and everything will be consistent. And that's the beauty of it. So I'm going to show it right now. So again, this is the composition or canvas. I'm going to run the script now. It's going to open up. So this is the script. And I actually developed the script with ChatGPT, the in thing today. So what the script does is it allows me to create alternate frame sizes compositions. So it'll take this guy, as the source, and then all the elements, all the layers that are in this one composition, they will be placed into these alternative compositions. So I'm going to click here to say create new compositions. And 1, 2, 3. So done. See that? And then I'm going to drop these here so it's a lot easier to see them. What's important is that all these other compositions, they did not exist a minute ago, correct? But now they are here and we can actually access them. So I'm going to switch to 4K. Just now we only had this guy here. And clicking on 4K, we've got this guy here now. So design is the same, but everything's been resized. The animation's been adapted to work in a 4K frame size. So just let me set this to less than full so that we can get a quicker preview. So if you're a brand or company where consistency in terms of your visual identity is very, very important.
That's always important. Yeah. Yeah, no, doesn't matter the size of the company. It's always important to have that consistency.
Yes, it helps to build trust and things like that. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
and even if you're doing
what you're doing, among other things. I mean, it's just it is so expected these days to show that you know what you're doing. You have decent graphics and they're consistent.
Correct. So, very quickly again, I just want to emphasize again: design ones or develop ones in one resolution. In my case, it was HD 1080, and then from there, I duplicated this source composition or source frame into different sizes. And then within these different sizes, all the elements adapted themselves into this new frame size. But what's also beautiful is that, see the heading here? Regardless of which composition I'm in, using this thing called the Essential Graphics panel, sustainable growth, sustainable. I'm quite sleepy tonight, so not very creative. But anyways, I changed the text and you can see it updated here. I'm in my 4K frame size now. All right. I made an edit here and it updates here. If I go back to my HD 1080, you can see that update is also here. If I go to one of the other ones, more popular, this one's more for Instagram, just you can see the text is also there. Yeah, so everything updates beautifully. And even up here, if you look up here, this text here, this subtext here, it also resizes. There's some responsiveness or there's a responsive feature built into this guy here. Right? So if I change it to just sustainable, you see that?
Mm-hmm.
So again, design in terms of the brand identity, in terms of branding, it will always be consistent. Of course, you're not going to type like don't mess it up and type something really small like this. Well, it still works. That's not too bad, But if you're a brand, you may have editorial constraint and things like that built into the system. Just gonna undo. Okay. And all the text layers, everything here is of course adaptable. And what's beautiful is also we've got an automation mode, so you can automate the process by linking a spreadsheet. And I've already linked the spreadsheet. It's off now. I can switch it on. And when I enable it or switch it on, it's picking up this text, the paragraph text from the spreadsheet. And it can be in English, it can be in Burmese, if you understand Burmese. It can be in Indonesian. If you're in Europe, you want French. touch, all right? And all these are done um, quite automatically via a spreadsheet. I don't think you can see the spreadsheet now, can you?
I'm not seeing a spreadsheet.
Yeah, because I think I should have shared a window. Anyways, I use a Google spreadsheet which has an auto translate feature. But of course, if you don't want the auto translate, you can manually type in exact translations by a human being. So you don't necessarily have to rely on auto translate via Google. So far, so good, yeah?
Yeah, can you do auto translate but then edit it?
No. What After Effects does is it reads all the information from the spreadsheet as it is.
Okay,
So if you want to edit anything, it has to be done on the Google Sheet side before it gets into After Effects.
right, right.
But once you're in After Effects, you can, of course, go to Google to the same Google Sheet, edit it there, save it, come back into After Effects, and After Effects will notice the edit that there's an update, and After Effects will reload the spreadsheet and pick up the new information.
Great. So this solution looks great, but why don't we hear more about it?
Because it's very, very new.
Ah,
It's very, very new. Not many people know how to do it. I've actually been spending 3 years on it. First 2 years were productive, but still trying to wrap my head up around it because there are a lot of things that you have to self learn. You know, you have to
so
hit
that's
your head. You have to hit your head
so.
against
Will
the
you
wall.
be teaching a course on this?
Yeah, yeah. But like, as we mentioned earlier, I intend to run a course.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, because I think it's good that we get more people to know how to develop these sort of things. I
Yeah,
think it helps. Well, it helps my bank account for sure. Supposedly it will, but also I think a lot of professionals will benefit from being able to produce high quality work like this. Um, as we move on, branch companies, government agencies, they need to put out more and more content. And the solution isn't just hiring more people producing rubbish content. The solution is actually empowering people with new skills, something like this, how to develop adaptive and responsive motion graphics, which will allow content creation to be created much more productively. And a lot of this resizing that we see now, which is done automatically when you have adaptive and responsive features, all this do not have to be done by or do not have to be created each and every time. This is just created, developed once. If I disable the automation mode, that means right now the paragraph text isn't being read by the by After Effects. I can actually switch and grab new information. Um, so I can come back here, and let's say this template is sent to a Adobe Premiere Pro editor, right? Which is this workflow is actually very, very super important. So we developed this in Adobe After Effects. Looks nice, looks great, looks beautiful. If we want to automate stuff, we do it in After Effects most of the time. And then if a brand or company, let's say they've got someone doing some production work in another country, in another state, or even someone in-house, their own editor or their marketing person, because even marketing people are learning how to edit videos today.
right.
They can grab hold of this template, drop it into the timeline in Adobe Premiere Pro. Don't need to do any design, and just type away, and that's it. They don't have to design anything. All the animations there,
Awesome.
because all the
Awesome.
resizing, all the animation, the colors are already locked in. The font size is locked in. It's like magic, you know. When I first did it, it was like, what the heck? This is like, you know. Um, I think when people see it, they're thinking, oh, these are all pre-made graphics. They're not pre-made. This is they created here and now. All right, and everything's adjusted in real, well, not in real time, but automatically. And After Effects generates or runs through the code, processes the code, and then recreates the animation. So I could type any text here. So again, this workflow is quite wonderful from After Effects to Premiere Pro for the editor to work on, because brands, although they like to farm out or outsource jobs to agencies, production houses, and things like that, sometimes they want to be able to produce content in-house because it's quicker.
Exactly.
If you
Exactly. Everybody's
outsource, by the
having,
way, they have, the production company or the ad agency, they have their own staff. You need it yesterday. They say they can only start it tomorrow. They've got other schedules, but it only takes you a few minutes or maybe half an hour or 2 hours, and you do have the personnel there. It's just that maybe you don't have the motion graphics designer, or you may have, but he or she's tied up doing more critical work, and all this basic tedious stuff. Um, it's done automatically. All the resizing is done automatically by the software through code and things like that. Now I'm gonna jump into Adobe Premiere Pro shortly, but before I do we have any questions, or do you have any questions?
okay, well, I was going to ask a question about AI because, that's the big buzzword these days.
Mm.
Is there, AI content is everywhere. So, how will AI affect this?
Well, AI will actually make this as an adaptive and responsive templates or toolkits even more in demand, because this helps to speed up your workflow. What AI content creation tools or generative tools do is they create more content for us. And what are you going to do with content if you don't put it out? So you will want AI is going to allow brands to create more content, but they need that content to look on brand, not like anyone else's content. So all this on brand motion graphics, which makes the brand look unique, is going to be a lot more critical. Yeah, and someone actually did ask me, hey, what if AI can do this kind of stuff? Well, it will actually take AI quite a while to be able to develop stuff like this, because AI is great for some stuff, but to develop something like this, you need human intelligence. And let's not forget that humans are pretty smart too. AI is great and smart in their own way, but to develop stuff like this, there's a lot of problem solving that happens or is required. So, two things: even if AI can do this, it's going to be years down the road. And even if AI can do this, you still need someone who understands the code, and who knows how to manage the files that are created or that is generated by the AI tool. And end of the day, you still need to do this, right? You need someone who understands the code, takes the code from AI, and knows where to put it, where to place it, how to prioritize it in terms of the production flow, and even how to do basic edits, because AI is still not 100%. And even in 2 years, 3 years time, for something like I said, there are 500 expressions, different codes working here across like 30, sometimes 40, sometimes 60 layers, and they all have to work together in sync in order to develop something like this, which works not only in one frame size but in multiple frame sizes. So there's a lot of problem solving happening. Honestly, sometimes my head hurts. Seriously, yeah. I have to take a short break and then come back at it, because there's just so many permutations and things like that. Although, like I said, with training and stuff, a lot of the workload can be simplified. Now, if anyone's done templating or developing templates or toolkits which are not responsive, or maybe responsive but not adaptive, you'll know it takes a lot of time. But with training and stuff like that, like to develop something like this, for me, maximum 3 days, and I'm done. And once I develop this, the next thing I want to show you actually before we jump to Premiere is once you develop something like this, it's adaptive, it's got responsive features. It can actually be used for a lot of use cases. So I'm gonna jump here and show you this what I mean. This guy right now, it's some people call it OTS, short for over the shoulder graphic. And if you're a brand person or video editor or video producer, there are lots of times where you need a lower third. Lower third is often used for you to use to put someone's name in it.
Mm-hmm.
So once you've designed this and it's got responsive and adaptive features, it's actually very easy. I'm just going to convert this to a lower third now. So watch this, yeah? So the text there is gone. I'm going to come here. I'm going to remove some of the spacings there. All right, I'm going to replace sustainable growth with George Leopardo. Go. Keeping it all on brand. I'm going to use this guy here to just put his first name. It's quite stylish, isn't it? Already. And I've left his designation there. And then I'm going to change this to lower third left. So, whoops. So this is now auto position. And bottom left. So just like that, from the OTS, the over the shoulder template for text paragraphs or short text paragraphs, we have other templates for longer paragraphs. I think I did that in just a few seconds. So if you're developing this again, to develop a set of templates, or what we normally call a toolkit, it just takes 2 minutes to go from one type of template to another type of template. All right. And again,
back in January, I was down at a SMPTE, an SMPTE conference in San Jose area, and among other things, while there, I took a class that Nick Haraz had on the broadcast use of Premiere. And an interesting thing was a non-broadcast team that was there. One of the largest non-Facebook or Meta or Adobe corporations in the world had 3 of their top in-house people at that event, and it was really fascinating. What does a huge corporation do with their in-house video team? Well, they do, of course, a lot of the video from the corporate headquarters to the corporate employees as to what we're doing now and how we expect you to behave, this kind of thing. It seems. But I gathered a lot of their time was spent on making the explainers for their website and their socials and doing links and everything. And so an awful lot of their questions had to do with how to take something from here and use it here. And boy, your presentation
This is exactly what they need.
Yeah, this is really
awesome.
Awesome
This will
stuff.
blow their mind. You tell Nick, I know Nick, but I don't know him personally, but I know he does some training and stuff. I think it's with Boris FX.
Yep.
You tell him to watch this and it'll blow his mind away. Yep. So, there's another thing which I should have shown you earlier, but never mind. So anyway, so as you see, or as you just saw, going from one type of template to another, less than a minute. Once it's been designed very well, it's like so beautiful. So if you're a brand or a company, sometimes you may have a new campaign or a campaign, and you may want a little bit of differentiation between the campaign, motion graphics. Again, that's very easy to implement. Yeah. All they need to do is to invest in one set of motion toolkits, which is going to be part of their design system, and then we're off and running. Now I'm going to jump here because actually I'm going to jump to 4K. Sorry, any other questions there?
Well, no, I want to move on here. I want to see
Yeah.
what
Okay.
the next step is.
All right, good. Now, just before I jump to Premiere, I just want to double check this. So, what you saw earlier, when I changed that template from a OTS, over the shoulder short paragraph, to a lower third for names and stuff like that, and I made the change in HD 1080. Now, when I go to the 4K template, as you can see, it's also updated here,
Yeah,
right? So this is,
exactly what you want.
it's like mind-boggling. What the hell just happened? Again, lots of people when they see this for the first time, they're thinking these are all pre-made graphics. No, no, these are all generated now, as it is now. If I put, sorry, Neil, Miriam, pouring your name. All right, I'm in 4K. I just changed it. I'm gonna go to, see that? This is the HD 1080. It's changed. So it's quite magical, I think. I myself, although I developed this, when I see all the automatic updates and how wonderful this is, it's quite mind blowing. Okay, so I'm going to jump to Premiere now. So that means I have to stop share. While I stop share, you've got questions from
Okay.
anyone or yourself?
Well,
I'm just along for the ride. This is all so freaking fascinating.
okay, so you're going to be teaching, of course. What's the best way to get a hold of you to learn about
Oh,
more about this?
I think they should get in touch with you, Creativity Hive,
Yeah, Creativity
via,
Hive, or just comments in this video. That would be great.
yeah, comment here or visit
Mhm.
the page, LinkedIn page for
And we'll
Creativity
get a hold
Hive.
of you.
Exactly.
Awesome. And they should connect with you on LinkedIn, right?
Why not? I'm a nice guy.
Yeah.
I may smoke too much, but I'm still a nice guy. Okay, I've just shared my Premiere
Oh,
screen.
yes. Here we
I
go.
want to make sure we're looking at the right stuff. Can you see some European city here?
Where am I looking?
Or you're looking at, okay, okay. Again, it's looking at the wrong stuff. Let me do some shifting.
There we are.
There, yes. Got it.
Got it. And here we go. Oops, I need my essential graphics panel. So the whole idea of using Premiere Pro is, again, you don't need a graphics designer or motion graphics designer once the template or the toolkit has been developed. All the multiple layers that you see or that you saw earlier in After Effects, they come into Premiere as a single layer, right?
Mm-hmm.
And if you look here, it's very similar to what we had earlier. Again, in the Essential Graphics panel, we have the same controls as we had before. You've got your different frame sizes. My frame size here in Premiere is HD 1080. I can, of course, still switch to other frame sizes, but of course, it'll be too small because they were designed for a different frame size. So I'm going to stick to HD 1080. And hang on, yeah. Whoops. Here we go. All right. Now, what I didn't show you earlier is, Where is that thing? Oh yeah. So you can also change the paragraph width. Do you see that?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So when I developed this template, I also made it such that you could change the paragraph width, uh, which is quite useful. Not quite. It's actually extremely useful because sometimes you don't want the text to be over someone's face
Right.
or stuff like that. So
Exactly.
you can do some shifting and things like that. And of course, as you can see here, again, these are not pre-rendered stuff. Nothing is pre-rendered. Everything is live. So I'm in Premiere Pro, and I've enabled my automation mode.
And you're shifting languages on the fly.
Exactly. As I switch languages, Premiere Pro is reading that After Effects project file and also reading the spreadsheet and then bringing the appropriate information in based on the language that I pick here. Now, all these do not come in here on their own. Of course, I had to develop it and things like that. And this is where the training and stuff comes in handy. And of course, they play back, not in real time, of course. You need like $1 million or $500,000 systems to play graphics in real time, but the rendering's pretty quick. If you look up here, there are about 12 graphic layers here, mostly with keyframes. So you can't expect real-time playback capability. Again, unless you're talking about six-figure machines, but they wouldn't have the capabilities that I'm showcasing right now in terms of adaptive, responsive features and stuff like that. So we're playing. I'm just playing back some of the templates that I brought in, and this is something I just developed yesterday and finished today. It's not playing back in real time. Maybe um, maybe I'll just do a quick render. Maybe not. You know what? So again, everything is live here, and we can build a lot of intelligence into our templates. You can see the line updates, this updates. I've got the paragraph with feature built in here also for this template. And you see this guy here, which I've called a footer. Um, Shucks, I forgot to. All right, I forgot. I can actually move this guy to the right and left, and again, it'll update automatically. I can change the text here, and you can see this guy update also. So now it says 2023 Mogurts. I'm gonna call it motion graphics. So do you see that? So the lines here updated to respond to the new text input. This text and the graphic underneath the underlay also resize and tracking and stuff and scaling all change to update. So it's quite wonderful, yeah. And I did this also just to show that there's so many design possibilities. You're not stuck to just a certain type of look and things like that. We've got some lines animating, and the lines do not have to be the same size as you can see up here. It gets thicker. Um, what's
Very
here?
cool.
Yeah, it's quite amazing. And this one's pretty similar, but again, the design is very different. But some of the features are the same, right? Some of the features are the same. Um, so over here, I can just change it to extravaganza 2023 and 24. So again, as you see, the text changes, the lines above and below change, and the text below also resizes to fit into that width. So it's quite wonderful, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's about 11:41.
So, yeah, is there anything else that we want to make sure everybody knows about?
Yeah, just two things. Even something like this, yeah. This um, just simple animation. This comes on at the end of the video. Normally at the end of a video for corporate videos, obviously training videos and social media posts, videos and things like that of a certain type where you want to end with a company logo. Again, you just animate this once, develop it once, make it adaptive, make it responsive. So if I come up here, um, right, you see the line changes, but also the little graphics that appear, they also adapt to accommodate the new text. See that?
Wow.
See that?
Yeah,
Awesome.
I've I know how much work it has done to make these individually, and if you want one little change, it can be several hours of playing around to get one little change. Doing this like this is wow, that's amazing.
Exactly. And the beauty of it, these days when I get some templates, After Effects templates from a client, I get one After Effects project file, sometimes a few, but they're like 30 to 40 compositions. They're not responsive, they're not adaptive. It's a bloody nightmare searching for the right one to use. And sometimes they don't even have the right one. So you have to find an alternative size version and then make adjustments to that. It can take you an hour, 2 hours just for a simple thing like this, like you're looking at now. Whereas with adaptive and responsive features, you just type the freaking tags. You just type it in, no keyframes, and a video editor is doing it. You know, I'm using Adobe Premiere Pro, a video editing software. I don't need After Effects. I don't need to pay someone to get someone. Again, creative arts operations people, they like this kind of stuff to be done in house, and they call it self-serve. So you don't have to go out, you don't have to outsource, you don't go to an agency, because you have this template. And even if you hire an agency, give the template to the agency so that your animations and everything is consistent. All right, and tell the agency, hey,
Yeah.
I paid Roland $50,000 to develop this, so I'm gonna, because you don't need to do this motion graphics anymore. I'm gonna get a discount for you or from you. All right.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
All right. So that I think that's a wrap. Any parting shots?
No, I'm good. I think well, I hope more people can do this, and like I said, it's not going to be easy learning this. So come join us for the course.
Yeah.
If you can do this, your client is going to
Be
marry you.
amazed.
They're
Yeah.
gonna marry you because they don't ever want you to leave them. Because to be able to develop solutions such as this, and we're talking about automation also, yeah, not just the consistency in design. Develop ones, and from that you can create different types of related templates. That's so wonderful, and you don't have to be tied up to a platform. A lot of companies, what they do when they need to develop or to create content quickly, or when they need to automate content to create thousands or even a few hundred at one go, they outsource. And when they outsource, they're stuck to a platform, and
Right.
these platforms are slow. They take a hell of a long time to develop stuff. Stuff I can do in 3 days, they could take in 3 weeks, I think. All right.
And what if you want to make one little change? You know,
In
you
terms of for what the
no,
design?
yeah, if you want to make one little change, now you have to
Exactly.
go back to the um, to that company, and
Go back to the agency, and because it's slow,
it's slow.
it's slow. Exactly. But if you come to someone who knows adaptive and responsive design development well, it may take only a few minutes to make that change.
And so if you learn these skills, you are going to be, you just upped your value so much.
Exactly. You know, you can wear a cape to work.
Right. Superhero.
Exactly. And why not, right?
Right.
But make sure the undergarments are on the inside, not the outside.
Oh my gosh.
Whose idea
Okay.
was whose idea was it to have this superheroes wear their undergarments on the outside? What the hell was that all about? Huh? How
I
did
don't
that
know.
start?
I don't know. Yeah, who came up with the first superhero? Anyway, we won't. That's going down a rabbit hole.
That's a
That
question for another time, I think.
another time. That I'm sure. I bet I know somebody who could answer that question. But let's go ahead. Say goodbye, everybody.
All right. Bye bye. Thanks
Bye bye.
everyone for watching. See you again.